back on my eating baked goods instead of a proper meal bullshit. It's the best life choice. Hello, beautiful people of the internet. We are journaling today. Actually, I'm not journaling. You're watching me journal because I already did that part. So I thought I would film my May journal spread. We're not gonna call it a bullet journal. We're not gonna call it an art journal. We're not gonna call it like a junk journal. It's my journal and I do what I want in it. Sometimes it's bullet journaly, sometimes it's art journaly. Yeah. So anyways, we're gonna journal today. I'm gonna show you my May spread. It is a folksy, cottagecore, kind of foraged found items theme. And I'm really excited about it. I really, really like it. I'm excited to show you. I painted in my journal for the first time. Well, okay, I've painted in my journal before, but I used acrylic paint in my journal for the first time. Turned out pretty damn good. What else did I do? It's pretty scrapbooky, lots of brown craft paper, torn books, pressed flowers, paint, she's cute, you guys, okay? You will see. When I started filming this journal with me, I was in isolation from a close contact at school. So I was isolating for a couple weeks, and our premier of our province, I live in Alberta, Canada, our premier just announced yesterday that we are going back into lockdown. Yeah. So, I mean, I agree with the restrictions. I, at times, don't think they're harsh enough because people in Alberta are a little bit whack. If you don't know where Alberta is, basically people call it the Texas of Canada. And ain't that the truth? Oh my goodness. But anyways, we're heading into another lockdown. And while I agree with the restrictions, it doesn't make it necessarily easy. But all of that to say, I feel like my journal spread, as stupid as it sounds, like I feel like it's been kind of like a saving grace for me through all of this, because I mean, the thing I love about Cottagecore is it's just a return to nature and the more simple aspects of life.
I feel like with the second lockdown for us, we're going to be getting back into things like baking bread, and I'm gonna have more time to practice my music and read and write.
So without further ado, let's jump in to the journal video. I'm just eating a little apple strudel
I find when I get in a creatively inspired mood, I don't want to take a break to eat anything. So this is my lunch today. Not the healthiest, but it's all about balance. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the rest of my monthly spread. I usually do a habit tracker for every month, so I'm gonna do that probably on this page. I'm gonna keep it pretty simple. I've just started using a mood tracker recently, so I did this one for last month, this kind of like 60s, late 60s, early 70s floral pattern for my mood tracker. And I did enjoy doing a mood tracker. I found that it was really hard for me to minimize my emotions to just 5 main emotions. So I found there wasn't room for a lot of nuance in the way that I was keeping track of my moods. That being said though, I did appreciate being able to reflect every day on how I was feeling. So I kind of did my 3 main moods for each day. But I think what I want to do for this month is I want to do 3 words to describe each day. So I still have that daily check-in with myself and a record of how my days are going, but I'm not limiting myself to just these 5 emotions. And I know, like, I mean, I could obviously do more colors, but I like to keep it a pretty small color palette. I don't love what a ton of color looks like in my bullet journal. I'm a neutrals girl. Like, even this is a lot of color for me. So I think I'm gonna do 3 words every day. And yeah, we're gonna see if I like that better this month as far as my daily check-in goes. Anyone else sketch out their words with a pencil and then when they go over it with their fine liner, don't even follow the sketch? No! This is why you don't do that! I wrote for the me, not for the month. Okay friends, you're gonna see one of my favorite tricks in action when I make a mistake and I'm not willing to just overlook it in my bullet journal. You take a scrap piece of the same paper from your notebook. I usually rip out 1 or 2 at the back and use it for when I make mistakes. And you cut it out and you fit it over perfectly so that it looks like you didn't make a mistake.
god, she's so cute! Okay, I'm not loving this watercolor that I'm doing right now, so I think I'm gonna do the little marker hack where you color on it and add water droplets. I tend to like that a little bit better. I feel like it usually works out a bit better for me, so that's what we're gonna do. Okay, now the question is, does this look cute? Or does it look like the duck just had a massive diarrhea explosion? It's a tough call. Yeah, no, now all I can see is diarrhea. This guy has to go. I'm sorry. Sorry, little guy. I just can't do the duck dirty like that, you know? There you go, buddy. It is actually May 3rd today, so I'm just gonna go ahead and fill in the days that I missed and the words that I missed, and then that'll be it for this page. I think it'll look a lot better once all the words are filled in, but even for right now, I think she's pretty cute. I kept a note of these in my phone so that I wouldn't forget. I find if I don't actually stay up to date with my mood tracker and I try to remember how I felt on a certain day, that mood or my recollection of that mood is influenced by how I'm feeling on the day that I'm writing it, if that makes sense. So I try to keep track of my words just so Tuesday Megan isn't influencing the way that Sunday Megan felt, if that makes sense. Okay, last but not least, I'm gonna do my habit tracker page. So I'm gonna take inspiration from my habit tracker from March. I found that this was a tracker that I was very motivated to fill in. It was easy to go back if I had missed a day and figure out what day I needed to fill in because I have all the numbered squares here. So I think I'm gonna do something like this again. It's not super interesting. It's not very creative, but that's fine. I don't really like super involved habit trackers with pictures and things like that. I just find it makes me less likely to actually do it if filling in each day is more involved than this. So this is what I'm gonna do for this month. I should mention I don't do a typical bullet journal spread in that the only things I do consistently for every month is a habit tracker, and then, like I said before, I've started doing a mood tracker, or in the case of this month, a word of the day kind of spread. But I don't do weekly spreads, I don't do task lists, I don't put my schedule in here. I just use my Google Calendar for all of that kind of stuff. I use my bullet journal less as a planner and more as just a journal. This is just the style of journaling that works for me. I don't like writing down all my tasks in my bullet journal. I like for my journal to be something that I can look back on and get a sense of what this year was like for me and really reflect on the most important parts of my year and my month and not just the day-to-day to-do lists. I found that as I look back on my old journals, I don't really care what things I had to do in a specific day. I more so cared about pages that talked about the kinds of things I was into or the things that I was feeling on a certain day. So I treat it more so like an actual journal than a bullet journal, if that makes sense. Okay, we are back. Day 3 of completing my May spread. I seriously don't know how it's taken me 3 days to complete a spread for 1 month, but here we are, 3 days later. We've leveled up the cottagecore vibes. I've painted my nails to match my spread. I've got some cottagecore sleeves going on. And I bought myself flowers for the first time in forever. But I thought it would cheer me up a little bit. I'm feeling a little bit down today. So I bought myself these flowers to cheer me up, and they were only a couple of dollars, and I thought that I could potentially use them for the rest of my spread. And we are gonna finish off my spread. So yesterday I finished my habit spread, and I thought that was gonna be the end of it, but I had a few more ideas. I want to just make like a little artsy spread on this side to kind of balance out the chaoticness of this side. And then I think I'm going to include a May folk cottagecore kind of playlist on this side, and maybe another art spread. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet, but I did print out some new inspo photos. I didn't feel like any of the things that I had in my scrap photos really fit the cottagecore vibe, so I printed off a few little photos. These are just all from Pinterest. I tried to get photos that either didn't have people or that had people from movies, because sometimes I just feel like it's weird if I take photos from Pinterest and it's like an influencer or something and they're just hanging out in my bullet journal. I don't know. I've definitely done it before, but sometimes it weirds me out a little bit. So these are stills from some films and then just some general kind of cottagecore aesthetic photos. So I'm gonna do an art spread on this side, playlist on this side, and then I think we will be done. I hope. I'm actually really excited about this spring playlist page. I decided to make it a spring playlist and not just a May playlist, because I feel like just 1 month is not going to be long enough to really explore this style of music that I'm wanting to look at more, which is folk music particularly, which fits perfectly with the cottagecore theme. I'm excited about this playlist because, one, I'm getting a little bit tired of my current music, but mostly I'm excited because this is kind of a return to the music that I used to listen to a lot. So lately I've listened to mostly hip-hop and R&B more than any other genre, which is fine, but I feel like creating a more folk indie alternative playlist is just going to take me back to my roots a little bit, because this is what I grew up listening to. This is what I listened to in high school. So I'm really excited to compile a list of songs that I feel like fit this cottagecore, nature, folksy aesthetic. So I've just kind of written the genre of my playlist at the top. By the way, I don't think I mentioned, this is meant to be like just the shape of a Polaroid at the top there. But I've put my genre of the playlist and then some featured artists. I'm trying to decide if I want to make this longer or not, because this is definitely not an exhaustive list of the artists I want to include in this playlist, but these are kind of the artists I think of when I think of cottagecore music. Jewel, First Aid Kit, Fleet Foxes, Bon Iver's For Emma Forever Ago album, I feel like would fit really well with this kind of vibe. Mumford & Sons, The Tallest Man on Earth, Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros, I feel like kind of fits this vibe. The Lumineers, Ben Howard, Paper Kites. I think I might include a little bit of Sufjan Stevens,
but definitely not all of their music fits within this genre. Ooh, maybe I need to include some Jose Gonzalez. But basically what I'm gonna do is I'm going to list some songs that I know for sure are gonna go in this playlist, songs that I already have in my library that I'm pretty familiar with, and then throughout the month I'm gonna try and add to the list. I'm realizing now I don't have a ton of space remaining for my list of songs, so I might have to continue on to the next page, which I really don't want to have to do because it's just not going to look as nice. So we'll see how small I can write this. Okay, I could keep filling this out for a long time, but I'm gonna leave some space for me to discover some new music this month. If you have any recommendations for artists that you feel like would fit really well in this playlist, leave your suggestions down below. Obviously, not all of these artists are folk artists, not all of these songs are folk songs. There's definitely some alternative music in there as well, but I feel like it still fits that earthy, return to nature, cottagecore kind of vibe. Back on my eating baked goods instead of a proper meal bullshit. It's the best life choice. Yesterday my niece was like, Auntie Mega, you accidentally left a chocolate chip in your cupcake or in your muffin wrapper. And I was like, oh, thank you for telling me. She's like, yeah, no problem. It's okay, I'll eat it. So rude. I mean, she's 4, but still. If you didn't know, I live with my niece and nephew at the moment, and my sister-in-law and brother-in-law, and my husband. So, no COVID rules were being broken when my niece stole my chocolate chip. Okay, back to the journal. I ended up doing the rest of my spread off camera, but basically I just included a monthly goals page filled with cottagecore themed goals like reading, baking, spending time outside, and playing guitar. Don't ever say that I can't commit to an aesthetic, okay? I then filled in each square with a report on how successful I was with each goal. Last but not least, I wanted to show you my favorite page of the entire spread, and that is my May memories page. I got really into collecting and pressing flowers over this past month, and I wanted to create a spread that could showcase all of the different blooms that I foraged. I decided to arrange them as if they were a bouquet inside of a brown paper bag, and then I left the top of the bag open so that I could tuck inside some of my favorite memories from the month. I had a journal entry I wanted to include, some photos, and some happy little notes that I wanted to preserve, so I tucked all of those in the bag. In hindsight, I probably should have put a layer of Mod Podge on top of the dried flowers because I did have to re-glue some of them after putting all of the different items in, and I'll probably do that at some point, so just keep that in mind if you ever want to try and recreate this spread in your own journal. Alright, here you are. This is the full completed spread after the month was over. As you can see, I added some extra pressed flowers that I collected throughout the month, and I was also able to fill in both pages of my 3 words a day spread. I don't usually do a monthly spread that is this involved, but because I was in quarantine for the majority of this month, I was able to put a lot more time into making this spread a little more special.
Okay friends, thank you for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, I know it was a long one. If you liked it, make sure to let me know, and subscribe. Maybe. Might be a good idea. If you want to see more bullet journal videos, they will be coming very soon. I really want to do a thrift haul video, but I'm not sure if the thrift stores are open. I might do like my favorite things I've ever thrifted, this sweater included, kind of video. Yeah, if you liked this video, please subscribe to my channel. If you want to, you don't have to, but I would appreciate it if you did. It would make me super, super happy. Yeah. Okay, bye!